In this video, I will show you a $2,000 PC build that can do everything at the highest resolution. And I'm talking about gaming, content creation, streaming, and production work. What's even crazier is that if you're just looking for 4K gaming, you can actually save $300 and get a better gaming performance. Don't worry about it because I will explain everything in simple terms throughout this video. That way, if you're a beginner, you understand everything that I say. You will have all the links to these components down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. So first, I'm going to talk about the first PC components, the $2,000 one, and at the end, I will explain what this PC is capable of running, both for gaming and production work. With the CPU, we have the i5-13600K. This is the current CPU I have on my PC, and it's an all-around great CPU. The only graphics card that I don't recommend for the CPU is the RTX 4090, which is the most expensive GPU on the market, but anything below the RTX 4090, this CPU is going to be a great pair. Remember guys, I do content creation with this CPU. I've never had any issues with it, not for gaming, not for content creation, and not for anything basically. Then for the CPU cooler, we have the Thermalright Phantom Spirit 120 SE. You definitely don't need a liquid cooler. Anything more than this will be an overkill, but of course, if you want to go for aesthetics, you're gonna spend a bit extra and go with something with RGB if you like RGB. But honestly, this whole black build is beautiful. I don't think spending the extra is going to be worth it, but it depends on what you like. However, in the description, you will have the RGB alternative in case you really like RGB, but just keep in mind, you will be paying a premium. For the motherboard, we have the Gigabyte Z690 Aorus Elite AX DDR4 motherboard. This is a great motherboard for this CPU. Honestly, you have all the features you need for both gaming and content creation because you also get good premium quality audio. Then for the memory kit, we have the Team Group T-Force Vulkan 32 gigs of RAM kit 2x16. Honestly, for gaming 16 gigs is enough, except for a couple of specific games, but 32 gigs of RAM is nice to have overall, especially if we are talking about an all-around system, because for multitasking it will help a ton, especially for content creation. Then for the storage, we have the Kingston NB2 2TB of Gen 4 SSD for just $85. This Gen 4 SSD definitely enough for gaming and also for content creation. If your main thing is content creation, then you can consider upgrading it to something with more speeds or maybe even more storage, but that depends on your workloads. Once again, I have 2 TB on my system and honestly, I don't need more. Then for the graphics card, we have the GeForce RTX 4080 16 gigs graphics card. This one is $1130 by the time I'm recording this video, and it's a 4K GPU. I wouldn't recommend it for any lower resolution. If you want to go ahead and play at 1440p, I think you can save a ton of money. I don't think you should be spending $2,000 on a 1440p PC build, but if you're looking for 4K gaming and you don't want to spend more money for something like the RTX 4090, the RTX 4080 is a great GPU. I do not love the price, but considering you get frame generation, which will boost your FPS by a ton, and also Nvidia is much better for production work and content creation, so for that reason the RTX 4080 is in my opinion the best option for this $2,000 system. Then for the case, we have the Fractal Design Pop Air. This one comes with 3 pre-installed fans. This is an all black build, remember, and once again it has enough airflow. It's only $63, but like I said before, if you like RGB or maybe you don't like the design of this one, you will always have the alternatives in the description. Just make sure that if you buy another case that is not mentioned in this video or in the description, make sure the graphics card fits in that case, and most importantly that it has at least a front mesh panel for the airflow. Then for the power supply, we have the Corsair RM850E. This is an 850 watt 80 plus volt power supply. I currently have 1000 watts of this same power supply, but honestly you don't need anything more than 850 for this build, and I would only recommend you going for 1000 or 1200 if you're thinking of upgrading the GPU down the line. The total price for this PC by the time that I'm recording this video is $2,024. Maybe when you're watching this it's more expensive. I do recommend you checking the latest prices, but for $2,020 you are getting a great system. There's nothing you cannot do at 4K, and I'm serious. You can run every single game, ultra settings with no issues, and you can also edit any video that you want. Now, if you're a professional content creator, then you may want to consider going with the i7 or i9 13900K and downgrading the graphics card if your budget is $2,000. But if you just want something that can do it all at the highest level, I think this one is a no-brainer. And yes, it can run your favorite game at high FPS on the highest resolution. possible. And I'm talking about games like Fortnite, Valorant, even games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Flight Simulator, any game that you want, it can run it with no issues. But I have to say, for just under $1,700, you can get even a better gaming performance. Now, if you want an all-around build, you also want to do content creation and production work, this is not for you. But if you're just going to do gaming, then go with the Ryzen 5 7600 for the CPU and the RX 7900 XTX for the GPU, which is slightly faster than the RTX 4080 at a cheaper price, and then going with a 750 watt power supply instead of 850 because this system is more power efficient. That's another thing. You will save up some money on your electricity bill as well if you have to pay yourself. You are getting, like I said before, slightly better performance for $330 less. That's something to consider, especially if you're just going to do gaming. But of course, you get an advantage when you go with the RTX 4080 in the content creation encoder, and also you get frame generation, where on AMD we don't have that technology yet. They say that it's coming, but as of right now, the RTX 4080 has that advantage. So it really comes down to your needs. But if you have, let's say, $1,800 or $1,700, just know that you can get the same or slightly better gaming performance at that price point. And yes, this system will be as well featured in the description. However, if you're looking for Prebuilt PCs at this price point or just at any price point, I do recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month, because maybe you don't want to go through the process of building yourself, maybe you don't have enough time, that's completely understandable, and that's why I highly recommend you checking that video out instead of this one if that's what you're looking for. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you